when you think of a seed being planted to bring up a beautiful flower, to bring up crops that we can eat, that seed it's in the dark. That seed is in the dark, and it moves through dirt before we ever see any type of bud of life. So if you think about it, if I say I am divine light, I am a gift or present, I am an educator, I am going to help bring in God's world on this in this earth. When I say that, everything against that is going to get me down. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, family, to Tea Time Podcast by Atiya J. This is your self-help, spiritual podcast, uplifting topics we all love to avoid, but we definitely need to conquer. Tea time is your moment to pause, listen, and absorb what is soothing to you. I'm Atiya J, aka Tia, a certified holistic life coach, and this idea was sparked by my passion to help others discover their latent potential, purpose, and significance, especially if you are one who feels overlooked, alone, or forgotten. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. I see you and I feel you. Welcome to Tea Time Podcast. Enjoy the tea. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Tea Time Podcast. It's your girl, Atiya J, aka TT, aka Tia. You know what it is. It has been a minute. It has been a long minute. And let me just make sure this is on the right mic. Yeah, we on the right mic. Okay. It has been a long minute. I miss y'all. For the past 7-8 months, life has been lifing, and that's why I want to talk about a few things in a couple episodes. But today's episode is about conquering fear of your voice. And I want to talk about this in the episode because I've been getting this idea on my heart, on my mind a lot, that even though I may feel like I'm not in the place, or I feel like I'm not in the position, or I feel like I'm not enough. That's really what it is. Even though I may feel that I am not enough, when I have an idea, when I have a podcast idea, or I have a thought, it is my duty to share that. If it comes to me as a duty to share it, that this is something I need to share. It's not just for me. Because every single experience that I have is absolutely instrumental in building me, Atiya, up in being who it is that I am meant to be in this life, in fulfilling my purpose, in fulfilling who and what I am, and what that does to elevate, not just other people, but to elevate the world, like to elevate the, not mindset, but the awareness that we as a humanity have. Like, and this is for everyone. The ideas, the thoughts, the feelings, everything that we have is so important to act on it, to move out on it, to make it manifest, because we have a responsibility to do so. We often look at the world and we get caught up in the world is not what we think it should be. The world, even my situation is not where it should be. It's not. It could be better. We get caught up in those thoughts, but I am the only person who can change my life. I am the only person who can change the world, right? I might not have a personal connection with the events of the world, but I'm the only person who can do something about it to help change it. Because it's not about whether or not I have the experience or the expertise to be able to talk about something, or to be able to speak up, put a voice into what it is that I want to change. It's not about the expertise. I know I did anyway. I got caught up in school, right? Because in school, you have to qualify yourself for everything. And there are moments where you have to qualify yourself for something, but those moments are natural. They're not as cut and dry as get a degree for this or pass the test for this. That's not how life actually works. Life works because when you have an idea or you have a thought or you have something that you want to move towards, you're now going to have to qualify yourself by whether or not you're willing to work hard, whether or not you're really to ground yourself in what it is that you say you desire, what it is that you say you want to make out of your life. So as soon as you make a statement, this is it, this is what I want, this is who I am, everything, and I know you might have heard this before, I have, but now I know it in my body, that everything that is against who you say you are, what you say you are, how you say you are, what you say you want your life to be, what you say your life is, what you say your life is for, everything after you make that statement of this is I am, that I am statement, after you make that, everything against that is going to attack you, because that's how nature works. That's how nature works. When you think of a seed being planted to bring up a beautiful flower, to bring up crops that we can eat, that seed it's in the dark. That seed is in the dark, and it moves through dirt before we ever see any type of bud of life. So if you think about it, if I say I am divine light, I am a gift or present, I am an educator, I am going to help bring in God's world on this in this earth. When I say that, everything against that is going to get me down, right? When I say I want to live freely, move into a trailer with my family, y'all, it's been a few months. When I said, right, I want to move into a trailer with my family and travel around the world, everything against it came. And I had to move through, and I'm still having to move through the doubt, the fear, the shame, different things that just came up, the pain, it's just growing pains. I had to move through it, and I am still moving through it in order to achieve what it is that I say I wanted. But it all started with my voice. And this is why we're conquering fear of our voice. This is, and just me sharing this podcast is doing it too, because I have not recorded a podcast in so long. I haven't recorded a podcast in so long because I have this feeling that because I am not, and my family is not where I expected us to be right now. We had some pitfalls, we had some mistakes, we had some things that are slowing us down for where we want to be. Because of that, I don't want to show my voice. No, I don't want anybody to hear me. I don't want to. It's like a shame. It's like a shame came over me, and what I knew is therapeutic for me doing the podcast. What I know is therapeutic for other people because of the feedback that I've gotten on the podcast. What I know can be useful and helpful and instrumental, I shut that down. I cut off all type of vulnerability publicly. I don't even share too much. If you follow me on social media, at Tea Time Podcast, follow me. I don't even share on social media that much because I'm in this space where, dang, I feel this is how I have felt. I have felt, dang, I messed up. Let me get quiet because I messed up. I'm going to have to figure this out. I didn't do something right. Who am I to, say a word to people? Who am I to share inspiration when the inspiration I receive for myself, I'm not in the position where that inspiration is leading me yet, right? Yet, because I'm an impatient millennial. So these are the thoughts that have been coming up for me that have been blocking my voice, right? And also, I haven't had my podcasting equipment on me so much because we have been living with my mom for a few months. So my stuff is in and out of storage like crazy. But I know what was really blocking me, because I'm the type of woman that if I want to do something, I'm going to find a way to make what I want to do happen. And I'm going to find a way, and it's going to happen. And if I decide to record a podcast without a microphone, then that's just how we're going to do it, right? But I let that go. I let go of who I am because I silenced my voice. And that affected me physically. That physically affected me to where my voice was changing. I felt like it was, at times I felt that there was a lot of phlegm, congestion in my throat. I felt like I couldn't breathe as freely in my chest and in my throat. I felt tightness in my neck. Like, all of this was happening. And if you're somebody who knows anything about chakras, my throat chakra was just it was more closed. It wasn't open because I was not using my voice. I would get these ideas, I would get these inspirations, and I didn't even write them down, y'all. I have a podcasting notebook where I typically write stuff down, but I didn't, because I felt ashamed. I felt that I was not worthy of the inspiration that I was receiving. And that's just my stuff that I have been working with. So from October until now, today is April. I don't know what date it is, but it's April right now. What's that? October, November, December, January, February, March, and April. That's 7 months, y'all. 7 months. I have been silencing myself. Because I felt I was not worthy, or I was not adequate enough for my voice to be heard. And that went on every level. That went publicly. That went in my marriage. That went with my mom and my father. That went with my sisters. That went with everything. And I'm now coming to the point where I'm building my voice up. And guess what? I don't really have regrets about life. I have some things that I wish, didn't really have to go through that. But I don't have any regrets, because I know all of it is building me up. All of it is for my good, because God is good. And everything that I go through, I know that Allah allows me to go through it, right? I have choices. I have decisions I make, and they're all under the watch and the observance of Allah, right? Because I have free will. We have, as human beings, have free will. And what is fortunate about Allah and us knowing our relationship with God, however you call Allah, the universe, the creator, because of our relationship, when we really strive for a relationship with God, because of that relationship, we can walk with the understanding that no matter where my foot lands, it is for the good of God. No matter where my foot lands, I can trust that Allah has me. No matter where my foot lands. So let me walk. And that's something that in this 7-month period of time, I have learned. I have learned through different types of self-work and explorations of myself, and having to live with my mother again. My God. Because if you know me a little bit, you might know that me and my mom do not always see eye to eye. But just building my love up for my mother, building my love up for myself, building my love up for my husband, all of that has been in intense, like, in Dragon Ball Z, when I forget what the chamber was called, when they go into the chamber and their training is just on overload. They can train for 20 years in the span of 5 minutes. That's what I've been experiencing. So I am grateful for mistake. I don't even know if it's a mistake. And I think I'm going to do an episode on conquering fear of mistakes. But I just know that my husband and I, we have a vision. And in October, 7 months ago, we decided to take the courageous step to move towards that vision. And I know in my life, Whenever I would walk towards a vision, it would kind of happen immediately. I would get it. I would know that things are pulling together. It's like I was walking on water. And for the first time in my life, I'm experiencing getting my feet wet. I'm experiencing for the first time that when I stepped out to walk on that water, my feet got a little wet. I wasn't just standing on it. And that scared me. To be honest, that scared me. And I felt that I'd made a huge mistake. I felt that Allah was mad at me. I felt that I was being punished. I felt that things are just going wrong. And what I am learning and have learned is that that is the new process for me, because I'm turning 30 this year, y'all. What up? So there's a new relationship. There's a new process. There's a new standard that I am having with the Creator, that I am having with Allah. And there's a new way that I need to work out, especially because my family and I have decided to go a non-traditional route, or to move towards the vision that we see, which is very non-traditional, very outside of this world. And because we're moving towards the vision that we see, Allah put us through the test, put us through the natural growing pain of how hard are you actually going to work for what you say you desire? How hard, or how much trust and faith do you have in what you say you actually envision? And what are you going to do when it doesn't come about and you have no understanding of why it's not coming about? When you have no understanding of why something is not working out? When you have no understanding and it just does not make sense as to why you can't move in the way that you used to move when you decided to move towards something safer instead of going towards your vision full-fledged like you had already planned to? What are you going to do? Who are you going to rely on? And just as a cheat code, the correct answer, the answer that will get you what you want, is God. I'm going to rely on God. I'm going to rely on the natural law. I'm going to rely on trust and faith and knowledge, seeking of knowledge. I'm going to rely on working and moving towards my vision that I set out towards, regardless of the pitfalls and the boundaries and the hurdles that come into my path, that are in my path. I'm going to maintain my faith. I'm going to maintain my vision. I'm not going to shift and change to the effects of this world. And I'm going to keep growing, because I'm a seed in the dark, and I know that there might be a rock. There's going to be a rock in the soil, and I can't just grow through the rock. I'm going to have to grow around the rock, but I still have to grow. I'm not going to fail. I am not going to fail. I will not be a dub. I'm not going to be a seed that just gets stomped out by the soil. I'm going to keep growing, because I know where I'm headed. I envision where I'm headed, and I trust that God put what is in me to be able to manifest and grow through the soil and the dirt and the pain and all of that. And then guess what? Once I do reach my head above the soil, there's going to be more pain, because now I have to go through still growing, now growing my roots deeper within the soil so I can maintain my foundation. And I have to work on blooming and opening up and just budding. I have to do all of this stuff now. So the pain doesn't end. The growing pains never end. That's life. And that's the beauty of life. And what I'm experiencing is a new level of growth. It's a new level of just being that is fit for the new Atiya with motherhood and with wifehood, and with loving my mother in a way that I never have before. Loving my sisters in a way that I never had before. Loving my new sisters and my friends in a way that I never have before. And most importantly, loving myself and loving Allah in a way that I never have before. And becoming closer in my relationships with myself and with Allah, because they're one and the same. And that relationship with self and Allah affects every relationship that I have. If I approach that in a loving way, then I'm approaching life in a loving way. And that's what life is about. And in that way, now I'm protecting myself from getting caught up in, ooh, what is that other seed doing? I can't even see the seed. You think of seeds in the ground, it's dark down there. So I'm sitting here worried about, because of social media, what another seed might be doing or how they're doing it, when I have an entirely different path. That seed has a clear way, it's shooting straight up. No rocks in their path. Or maybe vice versa. I'm worried about the rock that might be in my path because I see this other seed budding and, they're shooting up and curving around, and I want to do the same thing when I have a clear path. Man, I hope y'all hear me, because I'm conquering fear of my voice. I'm conquering fear of my voice because I know that when I speak up, it is an effect for me. That's all that matters. I didn't have a podcast so that I could go viral or something, or affect, bring inspiration to you in your ears. I started this podcast because it was an inspiration that came to me years before I even started this one in 2020. I wanted to do a podcast. It just came up in me that that's what I want to do. And I knew that I was somebody who was very closed off. I can hang out, I'm really cool, I'm open-minded, I can chat with you about certain things, but when it comes to my heart and what is close to me and who I really am, I did not really know how to share myself in that way. And now I am learning it. I have learned more about me and myself and my little girl and my teenager and my experience. And now I'm learning how to share her, all parts of me and who I am. And so I'm conquering fear of my voice. I'm not going to be afraid to speak up. I'm going to get back to writing in my podcast journal. And even though I'm still, me and my family are still at my mom's house living, we've been handling business, y'all. We've been handling business. And I'm proud of us. I'm happy for us. I love my husband. He is amazing. And I've seen him in a new light. And I love myself. I'm amazing. I am amazing. And I see me in my divine light that all of us have. And my children as well. I have such a deeper love and understanding of them and the blessing that they are as children, as reflections of me and reflections of my husband and reflections of the vision that we are moving towards, that they are why that vision is. My children are why that vision is, because my children will inherit the land. It's not for me, What we work towards in our life is not for us. The vision that we see in our head is not for us. God willing, inshallah, we will reap the benefits of the vision that we have, enjoy some of the benefits of it. But whatever we can see, what we don't see as a part of that vision is far greater. And that's for our great, 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 great grandchildren to inherit. For real, for real. Like, think about it. My great, 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 great grandparents were probably enslaved. I know some of them weren't, but I know some of them were also indentured servants. And I know some of my great grandparents were enslaved. So they put in work. They lived. They lived through slavery. They lived through indentured servitude. They lived through no cell phones. And they envisioned something that I am inheriting right now, to where I don't have to be enslaved. I don't have to be an indentured servant. I'm a stay-at-home mom with a business that I'm building. Go visit AtiyaJ.com. Right? So the vision that they had, I'm inheriting what they didn't see of it. I guarantee you they never saw an iPhone, that beautiful camera that's on the iPhone. They didn't see that. And that's the beauty of life. That regardless of what we can or cannot see, we have to keep moving. We have to keep walking. We have to keep working, even when our feet get wet and we're no longer walking on water like we're so very used to, because Allah was spoiling us, right? Because I grew up without my father, so Allah took care of me. So he knew that my mom had it rough. He knew that I had it rough growing up. And it's It's touching me because it's so beautiful. Allah knows me inside and out and before and after me. He knows. And because of that, I was able to walk on water through my 20s. What? I was a flight attendant. I traveled the world. I used to spin the globe when I was a little girl and put my finger there and boom, I want to travel there. And I was able to literally do that for $50 to fly to South Korea when I was a flight attendant. Like, I have been spoiled by Allah. No, I wasn't raised by my father. No, I wasn't spoiled by my father. He left us in a very, like, messed up position, in a way where my mom couldn't take care of us. Well, no, not that she couldn't take care of us, because she did take care of us. But my mom had to struggle for years to take care of us financially, mentally, She had to struggle. She was 24 when she had me. 24. And 3 years later, at 27, she's now a single mother of 3. And she has to go get a job when she planned on being a stay-at-home mother because she wanted to focus on the children. What? Come on, man. So it was rough with me and my mother because she was my mother and my father. She couldn't be soft with me. She couldn't take care of me. She couldn't teach me certain things about being a lady that I might have wanted to know, or experience, or the princess parties that people get to go to. I didn't experience that. But Allah spoiled the mess out of me through my 20s. I know that. After I left the house and it was just me and him, Allah spoiled me. And I appreciate that. And I'm so very grateful for that, because there is a balance and a harmony in life. And once we walk in more gratitude, instead of just looking at the faults or looking at what is not there, we can really see that, yeah, my father wasn't physically with me, but the father that I have in God, the father that Allah is, he took care of me in abundance. I had everything I wanted. I was never hungry. I was never cold, out in the cold. I don't even think I was stuck out in the heat, ever. We were always taken care of. And not only that, after I graduated from high school, I was spoiled. Everything I wanted, I got. I wanted to be a teacher. Boom. Little effort. Got it. I wanted to move. Stay away from my mom's house. Boom. Lived in Baltimore for years. Got it. What? I wanted to travel. Boom. Flight attendant. I wanted to work with a new population. Explore life a little bit. I didn't want to work. Boom. Got it. Little bit of financial struggle, but I made it and became a flight attendant. Like, what? And now I'm graduating to a new life experience, and I'm open to it, and I'm excited for it. And yeah, I'm conquering fear of my voice. I am allowed to share my experience as I go through it. I'm allowed to share my experience even though everything that I envision is not yet there, and it's not coming about in the way that I think it should, because my understanding is very limited, and the greatest understanding is the understanding of Allah. So something that really protects us is that if we can see that God is good and everything that works in the observance and the knowledge of God is for good, even though we can't see it, because there's some crazy stuff going on in the world. So of course we can't see the good in it sometimes, but it's not for us to see. It's for us to have faith in, and it's for us to trust. And I am really learning to trust Allah. And because I've always been pretty faithful, but I have not fully been faithful in Allah's will alone, God's will alone. I've been faithful that my will can come and be manifested. And now I'm learning that Allah's will is greater than mine. So even though I don't know his will, I can ask. And I have the ability not to move until I know his will, or the ability to move in a way where his will may be manifested for me, instead of me solely trying to manifest my own will. Because his will for me is greater. The natural progression of my life is greater than what I might try to force and to rush, right? To reheat your food on the stove, which might take longer and it's more dishes, is better than popping your food into the microwave and killing all the nutrients in it. So just something to think about. I pray that my words have brought some light to you. I'm excited to be back on the podcast. I thank you all for listening. I would love if you could go to buyatiyaj.com. That's buy, ATIYA, j.com. And check out my website. I love making websites, so I made that all by myself. I am a life coach. I am a photographer. I am a podcaster. So check out my website. Check out what I do. If you need life coaching services, that is offered virtually on Zoom or over the phone. And if you would ever like to discuss life, write out a path. Not really write out, but put out a path. Like, if you are seeking purpose, you are searching for purpose, or you're just working and you don't really get what it is that you're doing in life, or you want to quit your job and you don't know why and you're afraid to do it. If you have a path that you want to walk and you need some courage and assistance and support in walking that path, check out buyatiyaj.com. Set up a coach call with me and let's get to chatting, because you have the answers. You just have to dive into yourself. And yeah, I appreciate everyone for listening. You can check me out on YouTube, check me out on iHeartRadio, and check me out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Set the review, and I will talk to you soon at the next podcast. Thanks for listening. Peace. Peace, y'all. I gotta add this clip to the podcast because this keeps happening to me ever since I've been doing my spiritual work. I see myself being in probably the same wave as the people that I look up to, or just other people in my life who are spiritually growing and focusing on it as well. So I'm watching this. This was recorded. This was live streamed on the same exact day that I recorded the podcast. So check it out. Mama Ia says it in a much better way than I did. Check it out.
Listen, God is on the way. Okay? Your source, your creator, your healing, your learning, your elevation is on the way. So many of us are here and we want to get there. And we want it to be one big jump. The thing is, your healing, your learning, your elevation, your growth, your healing is on the way. On the way from here to there. Okay? If it ain't here, it ain't there. It's on the way. Meaning the things that you have to do to get from where you are to where you see yourself. God, source, creator, your evolution is on the way. And so many of us don't want to do the work on the way. We just want to get there. That's not going to happen. Because the stuff that got us here, where we are, wherever you are in your life, in your mind, in your body, in your healing, in your consciousness, it's not going to keep you here, but it ain't going to get you there. The other thing is that you cannot create tomorrow with the memory of yesterday, okay? You cannot, Charlotte, create tomorrow, Charlotte, North Carolina, with the memory of yesterday. And so many of us are in our mental file cabinet, in our trauma file cabinet, digging through the files, looking for the strategy, the prescription, the formula, the recipe based on what we already know. And where we're sitting, Little League Texas, where we are sitting, Little League Texas, we don't have what we need in the file cabinet, okay? It's not in there. Fort Worth, get out the file cabinet. The recipes, the strategies, the formulas, the constructs that got us here are not going to get us there. Even if where you are is a great place. It may be a great place, but in this new time, this new energy, and the frequency that we're in, God is on the way.
She is basically validating my voice, right? Where I might not be there, but I am still allowed to do what God tells me. I'm still allowed to be myself, to be that inspiration, to share my voice on the way. Although I'm here, I'm not there. On the way, God is. Ooh,